Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. This is Psychic Medium Raymond Guzman and welcome back my rays of light and everyone that is tuning in. Today I'm going to be doing a celebrity psychic reading on Christina Aguilera. And I'm going to be giving you the tea, what I see for her for 2019 and beyond. I can't believe that I had not read Christina Aguilera. I've read Britney Spears, and there's some other artists that I've read that I grew up listening to their music. We were practically the same age. Christina's 38, I'm 36. I'll be 37 next month in May, so we're just about a year and a half apart or so. But I've always been a fan of Christina, and I wanted to go ahead and do a psychic reading for her. I think she's fabulous. For those of you that don't know who she is, which I'm pretty sure that most people know who she is, but for those that may not be aware, don't listen to her music. She is a singer, she is a songwriter, she is a TV personality, and actress, because she did star in the movie Burlesque. So yeah, she starred with that in that movie with Cher. So it's just exciting, to read her, and what's going to come across through this reading, we shall see. Immediately when I tune into her, is someone who is going through a lot, and the first thing that I want to address is what's going on with Britney Spears. I think a lot of people are wanting to know, how does Christina Aguilera feel about that? What are her thoughts on it? And when I get into Christina Aguilera, I think she's been someone who has been victimized by the industry and has been put in a bad light against Britney Spears and other female artists, and they've kind of tried to create a rivalry. But deep down, Christina is a good person, and I really feel like what I really see and feel from her is that she does feel sorry, and she does feel sympathy for Britney, and what Britney is going through. And I feel like in many ways she has tried to be like an alliance, but she's very private, and she's not that person that's going to be messy or going to go into someone's life and tell them how to live their life and etc. She's very respectful. But on the same part, I think that if Britney was to reach out to Christina would be there for her, and they would have this communication going on. I don't feel like she agrees with everything that is how they're treating Britney, things that are going on in her life. I feel like she sees it, she shakes her head, but there's nothing much that she can really do, other than be supportive and be a friend to Britney. And I feel like all this rivalry that they had, that they, apparently rumors through the media, was all basically just rumors. Deep down, I really feel like Christina, really admires Britney and really likes her. They both are two different females. They both have had successful careers, and Christina is still relevant, so is Britney Spears. So when it comes down to it, I really don't see that there is any rivalry, and I do feel like she wishes, she could help Britney in more ways than possible. And she looks at her life and what she's gone through, but a lot of that hasn't really come out in the media. Some of it has, because again, Christina is more private with her private life, etc. So, but Christina has gone through a lot of, different things as well, and I won't go into too much detail, but dealing with the music industry and DJs and how they've sabotaged her career. I feel like a lot of them have turned against her. People were paid off and they spun stories about her and tried to ruin her career as well. And they've criticized her, saying that she's lost her voice and this and this and this, and she can't sing, and that she's a diva, and she's just jealous of other upcoming artists. And it's all, like I said, it's all false. I mean, I don't see that in her. I do feel like she is very hurt, and she is very protective and guarded now. She's at an age where she's now much more wiser, because you have to understand, Christina Aguilera was someone who started in the industry like at 16 years old, if I'm not mistaken. Somewhere around there. She was even before that, she was on Star Search, I believe that was the name of the show, and she was on other competitions from a little girl. So she's been in the industry for quite some time. And wasn't she part of like the Disney show, that Disney show kid, that one that where Britney Spears, I can't remember the name of it, Mouseketeers, she was in that too. So like I said, she's had a career for quite some time. And so growing up in that, she knows, now as an adult, she's very protective of herself, and she's not going to allow people to tear her down and to manipulate her without fighting back. That's the difference between her and Britney Spears. I feel like Britney is very gentle, and she's still having to find a lot of her strength to, because Britney doesn't want to say no to people, and Christina has no problem saying no. I feel like now, if you confront her and she doesn't agree with something, she's not going to go say yes, because she values herself and she loves herself unconditionally, to know that, she's not going to be mistreated. Um, but when I get into her soul, what I'm seeing for her right now, things are in her career are not the way that she would have expected it to be, the outcome. And I know that for any artist that's had success, there's nothing left to prove, but fans and people still want to see her be very successful. And so with her latest album, Liberation, I believe that was what it was called, that was released last year, it didn't perform the same way that a lot of her other albums had performed. It did exceptionally well, but it didn't perform the same way. So right now I feel like there's a lot of pressure from her record company, from the management team. There's a lot of pressure on her, and some of this pressure is self-created. I don't feel like it's a failure, but for her, she takes her career very seriously. And so I feel like there's a lot of different types of paths that she is considering right now in her career as to what she's going to do next. What is she going to do? She's not going to quit the music industry regardless. She's going to always create music, because that is part of her life purpose here on earth, is to create music, to create beauty through music. And that's what a lot of these musicians and artists and singers that have come to earth, and they have enlisted in that kind of career, or have taken upon that kind of career role. That is their life purpose here on earth. And she's helped a lot of people through her music, through songs like Beautiful, Fighter, etc. There's a lot of different songs that she's done that people can relate to those messages. Around her, I do feel like, she does need to be careful. And I've said this with other people before as well, but I do feel like there is some struggles here in her career. She's going to be experiencing a lot of people being shady, which is something I feel like she already experiences now, but I feel like these are closer to her team. People that may not be telling her everything that is going on. People that may be nice to her face, but very opposite on, behind her back. And it's almost like they're not promoting her. They're not giving her enough attention from that record company that she's with now, as they would have, other artists, or as they're doing other artists. And she sees this. Christina's very intuitive. She's very spiritual. I feel like she's very in tune with herself and with other people. And so she knows this, she's not happy about it. And I feel like this is where she may consider leaving to another record company sooner or later. I don't know how many years left, or how many, on her contract, how many more albums she has left with this record company. But I do get that there is going to be some contemplation and some changes in her career over the next 2 years. A new image for her. We may see her go back to dark hair. She is about reinventing herself, and I love the blonde hair, and I think that's her staple. That's her, her trademark. But we're going to see her evolve, because as an artist, she is constantly evolving. So I do feel like there's going to be some changes, some chopping and changing of herself, her image, and really giving us a new flavor, a new sound of music that she's experimenting with. Because again, she's not like someone that is just, wanting to follow the trends. In every album that she does, she kind of follows a new sound or a new music. And I feel like she's going to be working with some good producers as well. So, I would expect to see another album out from her between 2021, 22, quite possibly. It could be much sooner than that, again, because timelines are, I don't like to give timelines because they can fluctuate, but that's what I'm kind of seeing between now and then. And I also feel like she's going through some very personal issues within herself, how she sees the world, her relationship with her mom. I do feel like, she looks up to her mom, but at the same time, there's been some advice that her mom has given her over the years, and now I feel like it's kind of soaking in, and she really, I feel like her mom is maybe not doing so well. She has her own, battles that she's going through, and I'll just say that. And I feel like Christina is having to be like the mom to her mom, be a mom to her mom, if that kind of makes sense. And I think a lot of people that are adults now do that to their parents. They are usually like they take on the role of the parent and taking care of their parent, etc. So she's thinking in terms of that. But I do feel, and I do see her, continuing to kind of be in the headlines with the voice. I feel like there was definitely some clashes of personality, and I feel like she didn't get along with some people on there because, again, I hate to say this, some people are very fake, and Christina is not like that. She is going to tell you to your face. So some people have perceived her, on the show when she was on The Voice, that, that she was being, kind of diva-ish, or like she had attitude and stuff. But you have to understand, you don't know everything that goes on behind the scenes, and you're not aware of what, is taking place, what people are saying, what producers are saying, and they kind of want to treat you like, a puppet in some ways. You have to look at the camera this way, you got to say this, you got to, smile, you got to be happy, and they try to kind of filter her, and she's someone who is not going to be filtered. She's going to always say the truth and say what's on her mind, and people don't like sometimes people don't like people that are very strong, opinionated, and very and know what works, because they've been in the industry for so long, like she has. So she knows what works. And again, this is what I feel like with her album, this last album. It was a fantastic album with Liberation, but I feel like a lot of people just didn't you know get with that program, get with that album, because again, I feel like there's lack of promotion in the company that she's with right now, the record company. There's not enough promotion, there's not enough of her in it. This is what I'm saying about artists. It's like, once you reach a certain age, the record companies, they start to kind of you're like depreciated in some ways, and you're tossed aside, and they get a newer artist and start promoting them, because again, it's all about demographic and numbers for them. And with Christina, I don't feel like it's about that with her. She has been engaged to this guy. Get into this slide, and this is Matthew Rutler. They met on the set of, I believe, of Burlesque, when she did that movie, and they've been together for quite some time, and they are engaged. So this is her fiance, Matthew Rutler. Well, what Spirit is showing me is that there are some issues already in this relationship, and I feel like this is why they have postponed on getting married, even though you could say they're commonly married already, because they've been together for so long. But I do not see them lasting. And again, this is just me, but Christina is someone, like I said, who is not a spineless jellyfish, and she's not someone who's going to allow anyone to kind of dictate to her, or lie to her or cheat on her. And I feel like there's arguments, when I tune into her relationship with him. I just see that this is not, this is not in a good phase for her. And there are issues with her, fame. He's not as famous as her, but, he has his own career. But I feel like there's struggles, like he doesn't, in some ways he may not verbalize this to her, and it may not be said, but it's felt by her. But there are some issues I do feel very strongly with how some men, how men sometimes see their partner, if their partner is doing a little bit better than them, or is more in the spotlight, it kind of creates this jealousy, and it's unfounded, and it's very disturbing to know that there could be jealousy in that. But I see with him is that he is also someone that's very strong-willed, and he wants his way in certain things. And so he, what you could call it control in the relationship, you could call it just him being very, picky and not wanting to, he wants to spend more time with her. But I feel like she also wants to dedicate more time to her career. And so there's this pull between being a parent, being a wife, and, being a singer, and all these other creative projects that she has lined up. So eventually, I feel like she's entering a period right now where she's feeling like she, in some ways, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. And which do you choose? And for her, I feel like at the end of the day, she's always going to, choose her kids. But you know, we're living in a time right now where you can have children and you can still balance your career, and a lot of these females out there that are celebrities can do that. And I feel like that's what she's going to be doing, focusing more on her career. And it may require traveling, it may require time apart from Matthew, but there is a lot of pressure, and I do feel like she feels maybe kind of like you know, being judged and being given an ultimatum, you know, and it's not right. It's not fair to her because she's worked so hard to get to the point where she is today. But Spirit is saying for her to kind of, there's a lot of different projects that she's going to do. I feel like there's something that she's on the fence about, creatively speaking, but she does need to take that leap of faith and just go with it. I do expect to see her in another movie at some point. It may be, you know, Burlesque 2. I'm just joking with that, but it could be, you know, something along the lines with a music role. And I feel like she is someone that could really pull it off. So I do see her coming out with another movie at some point. I also feel like she will return to TV, being maybe a host of a reality show, or some kind of talk show, or, you know, a music show. But I feel like she will return, definitely will be returning. I do, going back to her relationship, she's going to find out some things that Matthew is hiding, things that he's not saying, and that's all I'm going to say. And it's coming out. It's coming very much to the forefront. And she's going to eventually, I see that she eventually is going to walk away, as painful as it is. And this is going to create not only good, you know, more music that is very, you know, touching to people, but I feel like she's definitely gonna separate from him. Whether it happens, you know, within the next year or two, we'll have to see. But what Spirit is showing me is things are not well with them, and I feel like, you know, she is very focused on everything. As far as children are concerned, you know, whether she would have another child at this point, I don't see that. I don't feel like she is wanting, she could possibly want another child, but I don't feel like physically she would be able to right now. And if she would, it would be very difficult. But I feel like she's at a point right now where she's, you know, already has her kids. She's ready to just kind of, you know, see them grow and help them in their careers. It's very possible that one of her children will go into singing as well, even though that she may not want that necessarily for them. You know, she will encourage them. And so we have not seen the last of Christina, and I do feel like she's going to definitely go into acting again, like I said, more in the future, and maybe do more roles of acting, and we'll see her doing that. And I feel like she's a very good actress, you know. She's multi-talented. It's just about pushing herself, and also having to deal with a lot of the pressures that come with these producers, with these roles, with acting, you know, and music. But again, she's going to be doing both of these. But yeah, I wish Christina all the best, and I do feel like she's going to continue to push the limits. Like I said, I would not be surprised if she teams up with, like, you know, someone like Maluma or like Cardi B. You know, there's going to be some kind of artist that I feel like before she comes out with another album that she's going to have a collaboration with, and it's going to be someone that's very relevant in this time. Not that she's not relevant, but I'm saying one of the newer artists that is very, you know, like blowing up the charts. So again, we will see it. She's one of the greatest voices of her time, and again, I'm just so happy that I was able to do this reading on Christina. And if you have any other suggestions of people that you want me to read, please comment in the comment section below. Blessings, love, and light wherever you are in the world. Thank you.